Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel Pageant Awareness. Today in this video, we're gonna talk about the strongest delegates, which can win Beauty with a Purpose Award 2021, starting with Miss World India and her Beauty with a Purpose 1098.
We need more heroic acts in our world. Dhairya was a brilliant student, a standout in school with dreams of becoming a doctor. But one fateful morning, her dreams were cruelly snatched away from her.
I got married after completing 10th in 2018. Someone else called 1098 and rescued me. At the time I feel I get a chance for my bright future, continue my study, further study.
Dhairya is not alone. There are thousands and thousands of children like her who are pushed into child marriage or child labor. One cause stood between these children and a future of darkness. 1098. This is the Child Care Helpline and my project to help the government of my state, Telangana, in their efforts to prevent any kind of distress to children. Every year, part of the WTCW's mission involves identifying and rescuing such children in distress. The 1098 hotline is truly a lifeline for this effort. This place dates back to 1945 and its founder trustee is Mahatma Gandhi. Here at Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Trust, rescued children are not only taken care of but also given the freedom to lead a life that they deserve.
Any sort of physical or verbal or sexual abuse on children happens, we receive a call to 1098. We need to rescue the child immediately and we need to alert the allied departments like District Child Protection Unit and Task Force Police.
A second major challenge is the ability to respond in real time to a call of distress.
Earlier it was not a big issue, but this COVID pandemic has highlighted several gaps, and how do we reach the children in time? Of course, we have a very efficient police department working alongside with us, but this another vehicle will be complementing those efforts, and our psychosocial counselors, our child rescue workers who are trained in this can also reach there in time.
And this idea changed me because here was my chance to change the world. One of the biggest partners on this mission is the local police, without whom no rescue mission is successful.
A country develops with a culture of law-abiding citizens, whether it is knowing the do's and the don'ts when you are handling kid, child right, prevention of drug abuse. There are so many things in which the country can really grow.
The first step was creating awareness of the 1098 hotline. As a spokesperson for the campaign, I used public events, social media, news and TV to create awareness. The second pillar of my mission was helping the rescue effort respond to calls of distress.
Miss World, South Africa.
Suicide is one of the leading causes of death between people aged 15 and 29. 1 in 3 people are expected to suffer from mental illnesses in their lifetime. So I believe that mobilizing people to strive for mental health would actually fix so many social ills in our society. And that is what I would mobilize. Thank you.
I call the mind the powerhouse, the tool that can change lives and the narratives that exist in our society. For any change to come about in our society, we need to empower the mind. If we do not, we will live in a society that has low levels of self-awareness. And it is my belief that education is the key to change. When I was crowned Miss South Africa, it was the fulfillment of a lifelong ambition. The most meaningful part of winning the crown was the voice that being Miss South Africa gave me. A voice that allowed me to be an advocate for people suffering from mental illnesses. The title gave me a platform from which I could make a difference. During my reign, I have made it my mission to promote mental health, using my voice to shift attitudes and to remove the stigma attached to mental illness. That is how my usually successful online mental well-being education program, Mindful Mondays, began.
Shuduvadzo Masida has, in conjunction with the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, SADAG, launched Mindful Mondays.
Because with the launch of Mindful Mondays and everything that we're doing in terms of mental health, that is my Beauty with a Purpose campaign.
Yeah.
Happy Monday, it's Mindful Mondays.
I expected the sessions to be impactful, but was surprised by how quickly it became an important space for people to share their stories, get information, and ask questions. Partnering up with the South African Depression and Anxiety Group and South Africa's biggest health insurance company, I invited experts who freely donated their time to join me each Monday to discuss a topic relating to mental well-being.
How can a loved one or family member help someone with mental health issues? Do you have tips, especially for people that can't really afford, let's say, group therapy? And something that you mentioned earlier is that I don't want people to get confused by it affects it's agender, so it affects girls and boys. So don't only look at the female child or the girl child. You need to be kind to yourself. You really need to be kind to yourself. And I think it goes back to something profound that you said, support people where they are, not where you think they should be.
We began our Instagram live sessions in February 2021, and within months, we had over 1 million viewers. We covered a host of topics, including something very close to my heart, women and mental health. Women are particularly susceptible to feelings of being unworthy and feeling less than. Women, I have learned during my Mindful Monday sessions, often bear the brunt of carrying the feelings of those around them without being given the time or space to examine their own. If women want to be game changers, thought leaders, it begins with being in balance both mentally and physically healthy. Of course, since we're in the middle of a global pandemic, Mindful Mondays dealt with how COVID-19 has affected everyone's mental health, including that of frontline workers. But what warmed my heart most was that during Mindful Mondays, there was a surge on social media and an outcry for help from children following the high suicide rates in schools. I was mercilessly bullied as a child, which made my school life unbearable. Since my mission was to dispel the myths around and remove the stigma from mental illness, I wrote about my own experience in a children's book, Shudu Finds Her Magic. In the end, my book imparts a message of hope.
Next we have Miss
was your
World
first
America.
Heartbreak. Mine was at age 12, not by a boy, but by complete heart block. Let me tell you about my heartbreak that inspired me to repair broken hearts around the world. When I was 12, my mom took me to the hospital for my annual health checkup. I will never forget the look on my doctor's face when he felt my pulse. At times, my heart would not beat for 5 seconds. I was diagnosed as having a complete heart block. The only way my heart could beat at a normal rate would be with a permanent pacemaker, a device that sends electric impulses to my heart and allows me to speak in front of you today. The average age of a pacemaker recipient is age 80. At age 12, I became one of the youngest recipients. I was rushed into the operating room for an emergency heart surgery. I was told my physical abilities would be forever limited. Doctors instructed that I be removed from dance and all school sports. Being bedridden made me feel lonely. I wondered why I had to endure so much pain. My life came to a halt. I was broken. My parents inspired me to change my perspective and become solution-oriented. After my heart surgery and months of recovery, when I returned to school, I was bullied. Every day I would hide my tears and remind myself, if I have a heartbeat, I have a purpose. This purpose was instilled in me as a little girl when I first watched Miss World contestants make a positive impact in their communities, and I knew I wanted to make a positive impact. My mother shared with me her wisdom. She said, how others treat you shows you their hurting hearts, and we must respond to them with our loving hearts. My heart's purpose became so much bigger. My purpose is to heal others who are suffering from a heartbreak. Not only a physical heartbreak, but also an emotional heartbreak. From my own life, I understood both physical and emotional pain and wanted to do all I could to help heal others. Weekly, I initiated new service projects and reached out to nonprofits to offer my assistance. I began volunteering with the American Heart Association, one of the world's largest nonprofits. Heart disease is the #1 killer globally, taking more lives than all forms of cancers combined. 1/3 of our world's population will die from heart disease. That's nearly 18 million people each year.
I made it my life's mission to advocate for early heart checkups, heart health, and a healthy lifestyle, which can prevent 80% of deaths taken from heart disease. We are capable of saving 14 million people each year.
All of us at the American Heart Association wish Cherie best of luck as she pursues the title of Miss World. We are so grateful for everything that she does every single day to promote health and well-being and heart health.
Prevention is better than cure.
To help pass an emotional health and heart health curriculum
in all of the USA's 50 states, I partnered with Victoria's Voice Foundation. As their youth ambassador and with the help of Mr. and Mrs. Siegel, our goal is to reach all of the 37,000 middle schools and high schools in America.
This curriculum will help save lives by teaching students valuable life skills such as how to tackle tough situations like bullying, how to manage their emotions in a positive way, and how to take care of their hearts.
I'm Andrew Perkins, Superintendent of the Thorpe School District, and I really appreciate the work that Cherie is doing in the state of Washington and in the nation dealing with social-emotional learning. It used to be that we're trying to figure out where they were academically. Now we're making sure teachers have social-emotional training to see if maybe there's a behavioral issue that's impacting their grades. We really appreciate Cherie's efforts to help schools tackle bullying and other issues that really impact our students' performance.
While being a full-time volunteer and college student, life presented me with another challenge. I was in a rollover car accident that left me scared to see myself in the mirror. My heart and emotional resilience was once again tested. My doctors suggested I take a year off from college to heal.
I wanted to heal properly, but instead of being ashamed of how I looked, I went back to university to continue my education. To protect my burns, I wore a sun hat and mask and pursued my purpose to help others.
I've been invited to speak in over 150 cities, 30 states, and 8 countries, including Malaysia, South Africa, India, Guyana, Nepal, and Canada.
I performed my message-based dance routine that portrays my life story and inspires people to rise up from their challenges. As a keynote speaker, I shared my heart's purpose at API's Doctor Convention with 150,000 doctors at Microsoft, Boeing, USO, and alongside Governor Mimi Gates of Gates Foundation, Russell Wilson, and Sierra.
Well, hello, I'm Secretary of State Kim Wyman, and I'm so excited today to talk about Cherie because she was our speaker at our 2018 Combined Fund Drive Leadership Breakfast. And she shared her story about how she views charitable giving and why it's important, and she inspired the whole room. She is so committed to charitable giving and making sure that people are taken care of when they need help. It's just an honor to be able to support her and be part of this.
Welcome to a room in my house that displays some 800 certificates, letters from students, teachers, and government officials. I treasure each one of them as it's a daily reminder that every loving action you take does make a difference in uplifting someone's life. But for me, the biggest accolade will forever be the sincere conversations I've had with people who shared how my vulnerability and messages helped them heal.
Miss
Hundreds
World
of
Kenya.
thousands of people with mental health conditions are shackled, chained or confined in small spaces, sometimes for years at a time.
Across Kenya, a terrible secret. They live in darkened rooms, locked up and forgotten.
This is a story of a man in Kericho County who has been locked in a house for, get this, 17 years.
Acts that suggest a nation that is going through a tough time.
And now brings us the story. 35-year-old Leah Cheruto has been chained in this room for over a year now.
Chains,
the physical representation of the shackles that mentally ill individuals find themselves in. They are used under the pretext of being the only way to control individuals with mental illnesses. My name is Sharon Obara, Miss World Kenya 2021 and a psychology graduate, and I have been on a journey of destigmatizing mental illnesses in my country. Studies show that 1 in every 5 individuals is suffering from a mental illness. Over the years, the conversation in Kenya is morphing from whispers and into the public, but not in a significantly progressive manner because of the stigmatization that comes with it. Despite having a Mental Health Act in Kenya and a developing healthcare system that seeks to deliberately focus on mental wellness, a lot of individuals are still suffering in silence because of the stigmatizations that comes with mental wellness. This keeps them from accessing the mental health care that they desperately need.
So mental health stigma is just a combination of the two. Being discriminated against because of a mental illness that you're battling. We see people who sometimes go through psychosis like demonic. They have demonic possessions. This might be just somebody going through psychosis, but we stigmatize them according to our virtues and our beliefs. In Kenya, and our Kenyan culture, we call people wendawazimu. Insanity. What is insanity? We call anyone who passes by and doesn't do things our way wendawazimu. This all adds up to stigmatization because these people don't feel like they're working in a comfortable environment.
The story of Leah Cheruto in a remote village in Nandi County in Kenya, who was chained and locked away for over a year before the intervention of well-wishers and the Moi Referral Hospital, is a representation of the effects of the growing stigma around mental illnesses and the misinformation that exists within our society. It not only leads to the violation of human rights, but denies the victims an opportunity to professional help, all while exposing them to the risk of developing even more mental illnesses.
We've seen instances where people have been chained and caged and ostracized in the name of mental health care, but that's a very unfortunate example of what mental health care really is, you know? And they play into people's weaknesses and they make people fear coming into institutions because for fear of course, being treated like a literal animal. And that's very wrong on so many levels. One of the ways that we can end stigmatization is opening the conversation on mental health. You know, using our social media platforms like the way Sharon Obara is doing to end the stigmatization against mental health. She's Miss World Kenya and she reaches a large number of people and she uses her platform to sort of start this conversation and normalize people taking care of their mental health. And that's why we have her as part of our team.
My journey in the psychological field started early in life back in primary school, where I had a friend and a classmate who suffered from epilepsy. Her work towards recovery was geared by the love and support that she received from all around her, including our very compassionate class teacher. While I now realize that these gestures were fundamental in her journey towards recovery, I was still too young to understand what was happening around me back then. It is so unfortunate that there is a lot of misinformation widespread in my country about how to care for individuals living with mental illnesses and neurological and cognitive disorders.
Let's all try to be human.
Thanks for watching.